I wanted to talk to you first. Of course, you can enjoy the fans as well. What's kind of the first feeling or the first thoughts? Is it relief? Is it just happiness? Or what's going through your mind?
Well, I'm just really happy that we finally succeeded. Our all hard work, playing the whole split and the bootcamp before MSI has paid off because we had a pretty close game against SKT, made some major mistakes that they're obviously an extremely good team, so they abused it and they late game team comp was just better. And today, this game, our late game team comp was just better, so Flash was played really, really good early game too, and we made a lot of mistakes, but our comp is a lot less forgiving than theirs, so we ended up winning in the end.
You ended up winning in the end, and that was the plan, but it does seem risky because the Flash Wolves got very much ahead in the early game, but you seem to be quite confident of it during the game that you could close it out. Is that also the product of just what you've learned over the past year?
Well, we just tried not to tilt and play to our winning condition, and our winning condition was Jasper with 5 items, and Karma, Lulu, Ivern, sorry, and I'm also like a tank, because we just have to all peel for Caitlyn, and Caitlyn will kill the whole team. So we actually knew all the time we got this game in the bag.
Well, talking to you now, obviously, is such a big difference from last year, and you guys have spoken all split about this is all that matters. Coming here and showing something for our fans and for ourselves. So what does this win now mean in the big picture? What's the big picture for MSI, for G2?
Well, the big picture is always for everyone to win the tournament. Even though against SKT is obviously the hardest opponent, and it will be really hard to ever win against them, I think, but we can do it. But first, we focus game by game. Tomorrow we have World Elite and TSM, which is not going to be easy. Like, even Gigabyte Marines are a really strong team, and I don't know, we just have to take it game by game and slowly get out of groups.
Well, you guys, I said it before, you guys learned so much getting down here, but was there anything that you specifically used when you stepped on stage here today that helped you to keep your cool?
Not really anything. It just I just played myself. I was myself, and I just feel like I played the whole split, and it's fine. And the crowd is really awesome too.
They are awesome. A final question maybe. We know that you hurt your foot, and sometimes they say if you lose like one strength, you gain another, so I hope this hasn't been causing you too much trouble.
Actually, I didn't hear anything.
How is your foot?
My foot is fine. I just twisted some ligaments, and I have to wear this for like a week, and then I'll be fine. And the crowd is really insane.
Yeah, the crowd is real insane, so I think we're going to cut it short there. But fantastic talking. Congratulations, and now back over to you guys.
Thank you very much, Shox. Fans so passionate, we can't even get our interviews done. But in all seriousness, yeah, it is a great problem to have. In all seriousness, though, here, G2 with the perceived toughest schedule coming into the day, and 1-1 on the day, beating the Flash Wolves in the late game here. I mean, you heard PerkZ say they were confident all game long that they could take it, but we do have to admit that there was an advantage built by the Flash Wolves, maybe not pressed as hard as it could have been in terms of closing it out against this G2 squad.
Yeah, there was a big hiatus there kind of in the mid-game where the Flash Wolves were really indecisive about what they wanted to do around the map. It seemed like they were really keen on the Baron, which in theory makes sense, but in the execution, that's when things went sideways. Itemization, I know, Isaiah, we were talking about this all the time backstage. The fact that Maple chose to itemize for like the Death Cap, the Morellos, the Void Staff, instead of going more of like the Lichbane, the Gunblade, like having split push pressure in a side lane, meant that LeBlanc had to be there in those 5v5s. And if you're just ramming into the 5v5s and it's not working for you, you don't get to make use of the full birth of your composition, playing those side lanes, taking free towers, and tearing G2 apart.
I think as a continuation of the itemization point, you look at Betty, who was once again going very utility, very tanky for an AD carry build. Things like Mormar, Mortius, going for the utility rather than necessarily building damage. And then predictably, if you have 3 people building supportive itemization for Zven and Ryze basically being a frontliner as well, we did get to that point 50 minutes in where the burst damage from the LeBlanc tapered off, low damage build from the Varus. There just wasn't the damage to power through in. Sven free hitting with 100% crit. We know how that goes.
I mean, you talk about this low, Frost, and Isaac, I want to look at some replays here. You can help us work through them. G2 dealing with the Baron pressure, though, is very interesting throughout this game because Flash Wolves kept going back to it.
Yeah, I mean, although PerkZ said they knew they had it the whole time, stopping this Baron was so massive because if Flash Wolves win this fight, if they take this Baron, they probably close out the game from there.
And the team comp here, remember, is a variation of what TSM was running earlier. But then once again, you have Zven in the AD carry position, and his ability to find space, to always do consistent damage, to trust himself, go the 100% crit, didn't need boots in the late game when all the shielding was there. This is a meta comp. I think on this patch, it is the strongest possible way to play League of Legends because there's just not much of an answer in the late game with most team comps.
You got to get to the late game.
Exactly, you have to get there, and in general, G2 were disciplined where they need to.
Everybody wants to talk. I love it. I'm going back to Azale, then to Frost.
It's also an AD carry who has proven that he can play these sorts of comps. When you look at Zven, his success at Worlds, back in Origin, it was Tristana playing these protected AD carry type compositions, and he's one of their best players. They played exceptionally well, and I have to talk a little bit more about itemization just because I thought that G2
it was cool.
Did it so well. The fact that we got not only one but two, and a third banner was actually being built against two AP people who can answer in the side lanes. In late game, it gave G2 full side lane control. I think not only the 100% crit build, but having all the support items, double Knight's Vow for both PerkZ and their Caitlyn, because it's a two-threat team. Neither one of these guys can die or the team falls apart. So I think there were so many things that they did correctly. And inversely, you talked about the LeBlanc not building for split push, Betty not building an IE, not building enough damage to punch through the tank line. I just think this was really a story of one team itemizing perfectly and the other team not doing the best job.
Free side lane pressure in a game where you're down in gold. Frost, I'm coming to you. I know you wanted to jump in on that conversation.
I love the idea about siege composition. So I have this very strong opinion that I think that a siege composition is the absolute best way to play in League of Legends if it's done perfectly, simply because it's up tempo all the time. And what that means is that if you have a siege comp, there's never a moment where it's not like a cooldown composition. Like, you don't throw the Ash arrow and then you no longer have that. You have to wait the 40 seconds for it to come back up for you to be relevant again. If you have the Caitlyn, the Ivern, you're always ready to go. You're always at your win condition. You just need to be approaching those towers. And if you have good flanking vision to cover it, because that's what siege comps are weak against, no one can stop you.
And it's all about positioning, right? Let's take a look at 35 minutes in. G2 taking a play out of SKT's playbook that happened against them just here in game one today. Going to contest the Baron, rotate mid for a turret.
So, go ahead. The biggest issue here is this is like a perfect microcosm of everything that went wrong this game for Flash Wolves. Again, there's no real reason that they should be there. Like, either commit to the Baron, don't be on the Baron. Maple should be in a side lane, split pushing. He doesn't have the itemization for it, but they just constantly are shoehorning themselves into this play, and ultimately G2 just get to walk up, push them off of it, and then use their siege composition how it was meant to be done.
They actually take two turrets there.
But by that point, there was no good decisions coming back to the banner of command. You can't go for that split push. You go for the team fight, it doesn't work. 53,000 damage just from the Caitlyn. That's Varus and LeBlanc combined from the side of Flash Wolves, but they had no good decisions. They couldn't go for the split push. LeBlanc can't get through that banner of command minion, and they can't kill anyone because the burst was outscaled as well. So
here's where I disagree, though. I mean, I think that the decision is what I think went wrong for Flash Wolves is they try to play the perfect decision, and there is no perfect decision. I think that they were around Baron so many times that they needed to choose their time to actually force it down, take the Baron, because if they took the Baron with their earlier lead, I think they could have ended the game. I think they played too risk-averse, too scared, and it cost them.
All right, well, clearly we got strong feelings about this game on the desk, but we got to push ourselves to a break. G2 Esports has picked up their first win here at MSI, and in a few minutes, SKT and Gigabyte Marines will look for their second. Catch you here right after the break.
All right, here we go, action, baby. Ults it in, its only trick in the front, but he's Whimsy just running out of HP, and talk about efficiency. Delivers first blood to Karsa. Call on that Ryze ultimate, and it's still going on. Oh, Redemption's not going to do much for him, but he still will go down. The trade kill as best as it could have been. Smite range ulti, Azan's going to look for the play here, and this one explosive cast buys some time. Smite's going to go to Karsa. It's a 3-stack here in this one. He's going to be in. A lot of damage. First kill picked off. 5v4. Buys some time on the top side of the fight. It's going to be SwordArt knocked down. That's a 1-for-0. Make that a 2 as Buddy falls as well. Then jumping forward to make sure that can happen. And G2 in a 5v3.
Good job. Nice.
And G2 get the comeback upset win over Flash Wolves, improving to 1-1 to close out the first day.